What's up, world? It's your girl, comedian Miss Arkansas, and we are zooming through this pandemic. And Lord, it's a pandemic for real. My phones ain't working. But I have a very special guest on today. Not only is she a hilarious comedian, she also is a radio personality. A good friend of mine, comedian AK, y'all. What's up, sis?
Sis, how you doing?
I'm good, and she's a mother now. Look at that little handsome joker.
Yeah, thanks for having me on your show.
Yes, girl. I wasn't gonna keep having this thing without calling on you.
Oh, that's what's up. I appreciate that.
So how you dealing with this, what we going through? I don't even know the name of it no more.
You know what? I hadn't thought about renaming it either. I guess we should start thinking about that. Actually, I've been dealing with it just fine. I can't really complain. For me, it was kind of like more of an extended maternity leave than anything. You know, of course, no different than other comedians. You know, I was a comedian long before I was a mom, and we all missed the stage. Like, I was only away from the stage after I had my baby. So the last show that I had was 5 days before I gave birth. And I returned back to the stage when he was, I think, like 3 weeks old. And so essentially I was out for the quarantine longer than I was for maternity leave.
Right.
Because they don't pay us for it, y'all. It ain't like, it's not a real job.
Wow. How old is he now?
He's going to be 6 months next week.
Girl, look like you just had him.
No, he's huge.
No, I'm saying it seemed like the time.
Oh,
like
yeah. Well,
look
you
at
know,
it's not no more.
People say that when they on the outside, but when you all of these millions of diapers in, nah, it wasn't yesterday. I didn't just have him. A little bit.
Wow. Yes, he'll have some little guy.
Thank you.
Wow. Sis, who or what inspired you to be a comedian?
Interesting question. So, you know, my story isn't the typical comedy story, and I'm very proud of it because what happened was when I moved out to Vegas, like I had no aspirations of being a comedian. I mean, people always told me I was crazy. They never really said I was funny. And so so I started bartending at the Ice House, and Jay Reed and D-Lay had a show there on Tuesdays. And a couple of weeks into their show, they both approached me and were like, you know, they thought that I was funny, just talking regularly. You know, as a bartender, that's one of your jobs is to be funny and to be relatable because you want that bread.
Right.
And so so they said that, and I was like, oh, okay. I was new to Vegas, and I didn't want to get caught in no foolishness or no mess. So I didn't know them that well. You know, I thought they were nice guys, but I didn't know them. And I'm from St. Louis. Like, that's a scam if I ever heard. Well, ooh, girl, you funny. Come to y'all gonna try to stick me. And so I just kind of ignored it. And a couple of weeks later, they came back to me and they was like, when you gonna get on the stage? Like, when you gonna get up there? And I was like, soon, one day. And that night, D-Lay got on stage to close out the show. And he said, y'all, next week we got a special treat for y'all. She been making you drinks all this time, and next week she gonna make y'all laugh. I'm like, which one of y'all? I'm looking at my coworkers like, I was dead serious. I was like, which one of y'all going? They was like, no, they talking about you. I was like, who, me? And I ain't no punk. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna tell jokes next week. And is this a censored show?
No, you good.
Girl, I was shitting bricks that whole weekend. Did no doodle come out my butt right. That whole weekend, my bowels was toed up. I was so nervous. My nerves was horrible.
Oh.
And I got up and I performed and I had a standing ovation. Like they were so feeling me. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, whoop, right there, knock that off my bucket list. Like I was thinking that was the only time that I was ever going to do comedy. I did not think that like what, 13 years later that here I am, you know, still doing comedy. That's crazy. So that's why whenever people hear me say, you know, if it wasn't for Jay Reed, if it wasn't for D-Lay, there would be no AK. And that's very true because they really did push me to get on stage.
Wow.
and I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Diaz is the reason that I continued to do shows once the Ice House closed. He made sure that I continued to do stages that I was booked, whether he did it. It wasn't a lot of comedy locally here at that time. So he really was looking out for me. So I just want to make sure I put that in the atmosphere.
Wow. So it's been 13 years now.
Yeah.
Wow. You are hilarious. I ain't just saying it because you're my friend or because you're on here. You are. I love you. Every time I see you, I laugh like it's my first time.
Oh, thanks, sis. I appreciate that. And I promise, touche, man. I am such a fan. I'm a fan. I always sit there and think, now, where the hell did she come up with that? Like, I think that your form of comedy is so underrated. Like, I don't think people understand that it's so much easier for us to take a story and put a spin on it and observe it versus putting together a plot. Like, you put together a plot.
Right.
And then like you make people do this the whole time, like scoot closer to the I can't believe she said it. Like every time. I love watching the audience when you perform because I love comedy that makes people think, and you can see their wheels turning the whole time, and when you hit them, it's just like water balloons to their face. I love it.
She get ready to say next.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Thank you. I know you say you got nervous when you was a bartender working and they put you on the spot, but since you've been doing your comedy, do it make you nervous?
Every time. Every single time.
Would you call it nervousness or would you call it something else? Because I was trying to explain to them the other day, to me, being nervous is like when I'm driving a 85 and a 60 and the police are ready to pull me over, I get hot. I feel like I got to throw up. My knee get to shaking. You know, that's nervousness to me.
Word. You know, sis, I think the word that we should be using is adrenaline. I think that's what we're looking for. It's an adrenaline rush. But there's anxiety. I'll say that. There's more anxiety. I'm anxious. And so you are right. Nervousness, the way that you just brought that back to me. Hell yeah, I'm nervous. Yeah, that ain't the same thing. Nah, that ain't the same thing.
Right.
I'm not gonna die on stage.
And 9 out of 10, we done got our money, whether they laugh or not.
Listen.
Right, so ain't nothing to be nervous about for real.
Listen, okay, look.
Yep. Let's see. Have you ever had a heckler? And if you have, how did you deal with it?
You know what? I wouldn't say heckler like you ain't funny type. I've never had that. I've never experienced. Right. I have had people who thought it was a conversation, and then I had to explain to them not so that it's not a conversation. And then
right.
They feel away, and then we got to go into it a little deeper. But the only time that it's been really like a moment that I think you're looking for right now is actually the first night that I ever met Tab. Or no, the first night that I met Donnie. And Donnie and Tab and I all met each other that night. So I met Tab at a competition a couple of weeks before that, but at this particular show. And there was a young girl, Emily. She used to do comedy. She was more like an entertainer comedian, not a stand-up comic. And I do say that. However, we are supposed to have a certain level of camaraderie, especially as comedians, female comics. You know, person, if you're not enjoying the show, get your ass the fuck up and go somewhere else. You know, it's right. Plain and simple. No one tells you when you do your job improperly. Like, we don't come up in that motherfucker and start yelling and banging pots and pans. We don't do that. So we
right.
Get that same respect from you, you know? And so right. What happened was she got heckled off the stage. She came backstage crying. And I begged Gaynell. I was like, Gaynell, please put me up next. Please. I was like 4 comics later. I was like, please put me up next. Please. Let me get. And she was like, all right, sis. All right. I went out there and I ate up everybody at his table. I ate them all up because y'all sit here with him. None of y'all made him feel uncomfortable sitting there. Y'all should have all turned y'all seats and made him feel like he was in timeout. But you made him feel welcome with that type of behavior. So let me do y'all this service and make you all feel unwelcome. And they all got up, and guess what? A whole nother group came in and sat and filled up that entire table.
And had a good time.
And you want to know what else is crazy? The dude we found out later was Darius Stone's brother. So he tells this story way more often than I do.
Wow. You know, I'm sure you'd have seen it too. Like a lot of comedians, before they take the mic, they have to do push-ups and sit-ups and run around the block and box and all kinds of stuff, talk to the air and all kinds of stuff before they get their mic. Is there anything in particular you have to do before it's your time?
So I've never seen such a fucking thing. I just want to put it out there. And if I do, I am calling the paramedics for them. I am going to assume they're having a seizure. I've never seen it. And you traveled way more than me, so I know that you're telling this story from the heart. I'm just saying, I personally ain't never seen nobody doing the Running Man to get ready to go on stage.
Yeah,
and
they do all kinds
I have to experience that because this is gonna turn into a roasting session because I ain't gonna be able to talk my tongue. But for me, I don't really have a routine. Like right before I go on stage, if the host is taking a while to bring me up, like they keep saying they're gonna bring me up and then they tell another joke.
A couple more jokes or something.
Yeah, like now I gotta start walking in circles because now my adrenaline is starting to almost like overflow right now, and I can't lose control of it because then I'll lose my power before I go on stage, and the audience will be able to see that, and it's gonna be a flop.
It's grown. You right.
Yeah,
wow.
Absolutely.
Some of the places you have performed since you've been doing your comedy.
Outside of Vegas?
Anywhere.
Oh, okay. Ooh. All right.
Well, I'll put it to you like this. If you was at the BET Awards, you wouldn't get to name all of them. So just act like we at the awards. You ain't got to name all of them.
You're so funny in the way that you wear stuff. Okay. You put it so black and white. Like, okay, there you go. I just fed it to you. You should understand now. Okay. So, well, I'm very grateful to say that here in Las Vegas, I performed on some amazing stages. I've done Life is Beautiful Festival. I was also I was the only Black woman and one of 2 Black comics on a 60 comic lineup to open up the theater at Zappos for their comedy festival over 4 days. I performed with some people who I grew up watching on TV, and that's been absolutely amazing to me. I've had the opportunity I have been doing comedy for probably like 8 or 9 years before I actually finally performed in my own hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. Stands Up. And
St. Louis.
Huh?
I said I love St. Louis. I got my gold tooth over on Page.
I ain't gonna lie. It looked like a Page gold tooth when I first seen you. Don't nobody else gold shine like the ones that you get off Page.
Oh, now St. Louis.
So that's so interesting. God, you're amazing. So yeah, I got a chance. And what's interesting is the place that I performed at in my hometown is actually the place where I first started bartending ever. So I started comedy in Vegas from bartending, but I started bartending at the place that I performed comedy for the first time in St. Louis. I won the the Northwest Black Comedy Festival. I think 2018. I won overall best comic. I went out there to Portland. I thought I was doing a friend a favor. The Real Hijinks hit me up, and he asked me, Donnie and Macho Comedy Fuji Stand Up to all come out. Macho wasn't able to do it. Donnie, his people live up there, so he was gonna be down. And I was able, fortunately, to make it out there. But I just thought I was coming to support his thing and to, kind of help him get it on the map a little bit more with more comics and stuff like that. And, you got to pay to get yourself out there. And most comics have to pay a fee, but because he asked us personally, of course he didn't charge us to do so. I hope don't nobody feel away about that. But I mean,
They'll be all right.
Y'all got y'all money worth, because I thought that it was just a bunch of comics coming to do a festival. I've done festivals before, but it was a competition and I ended up winning. And that was very shocking to me. And they gave me an amazing award. That award is beyond beautiful. It is a prism of a microphone with my name etched into it. It's absolutely gorgeous. When the sun hits, when the light hit the ice, it twinkle and glisten. But from that show, I don't know if you know Auntie Katrina over in Tacoma, but she saw me there and she flew me out to Tacoma to come and perform at her show that was in the Boom Boom Room. But I had a great time. I performed in Salt Lake City with the homie Steve McAnally. Me and that dude Donnie drove out there in my PT Cruiser, went in there in this white room with this white lady host up there talking about her black nanny picking cotton for her. I got up there and ate that bitch's asshole. I don't care who's sitting this thing. What? I ain't been invited back, but we had a good time. Those people was asking for our autographs. That's the first time I ever had anybody ask me for my autograph was after that show. Me and Donnie go out to the parking lot.
I didn't have now another fun one in there, you know, and it'd be amazed when they finally get to see us and meet us.
Absolutely, you show right about this. Well, that show he had was an ongoing show from when he lived out there, and that was like a continuation because the people had been asking him to bring the show back. So me and Donnie, we done with the show, had a great time. Steve and them trying to get us to stay, and we like, hell no, we not staying because in Vegas, it's 102 degrees and it's snowing right now, right here. We're going back home. We go to the parking lot, y'all, my car is on a flat. I'm not staying here. I'm not staying. Where is the nearest? Well, I was like, and I'm thinking, I'm like, damn, we ain't in Vegas. They ain't got no Yantras or whatever the little 24-hour spots. They ain't got one of them. So I'm like, shoot. I was like, the 7-Eleven open. Went in there and overpaid for some Fix-A-Flat. Put the Fix-A-Flat in the tire. Nothing happens to the tire. It starts just seeping out. So we take the donut, put the donut on the car. Me and Donnie are driving. We are like 3 hours into the drive. And the snow goes from just kind of falling. Now it's like 4 different versions of snow all at once. And like, I had to ask because at one point, like the snow was coming off the car. You couldn't put the high beams on because then it made it brighter. And I kind of glanced over at Donnie and I said, hey man, I said, is this a blizzard? Donnie said, man, I ain't want to say nothing.
That's him.
Man, I ain't want to say nothing. I was like, we straight in a blizzard on a donut. And tractor trailers were like flying past us with the chains on their tires and stuff. Y'all, that is supposed to be like a 4.5-hour drive. It took us almost 8 hours to get back to Vegas, but we got here safely. And your girl went right in the house, got in the shower, put on her clothes, and went to work.
That's a trooper. You hear me?
Johnny made a post about it, man. He was like, look, man, my mama owe you. Like, you stay got me here alive, like on a donut in a blizzard on some real. And
that's
I ain't gonna
almost impossible, y'all. So they was determined and motivated. You heard me? Wow. So
speech over.
So who or what got you into doing radio?
So the way that I got into radio, interestingly enough, it kind of still goes back to Jay Reed a little bit. So at this point, Jay Reed had his show at the Plaza downtown, and he was doing promotion for it on Power 88 on Carlea's show. So he wanted me and Nutcase to come in because he was actually, Jay does the cruise ship a lot.
Right.
And so at this time, he needed me and Nut to take off. Me, Nut, and Ricky were supposed to take over the show for him and host it until he got back off of the ship. So he basically wanted us to be on the promotional show or whatever, so people will be familiar with us. Well, Carlea and I ended up getting really close because we love each other. She's an absolutely amazing, 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 amazing woman. She's amazing. Her spirit is so beautiful, and she literally did what a lot of women don't do. She looked at another woman and said, "I think that you would be great at this. Let me help you." And so Carlea put me on her show. And what happened, and a lot of people don't know this part of the story. What happened was Carlea was told by upper management that she couldn't have people on the show that had not gone through the intern process. And so I wasn't on for probably like 4 or 5 months. And one day Carlea called me and was like, "I miss you so much. Please come up here to the station and come and see me." And I'm like, "I'll come see you." So I came up there, and when I'm in there, this was actually a voting day, election day. And she said, "AK, can you believe that people aren't getting out there to vote? Tell the people why they need to get out there and vote." And I started talking. The general manager of the station, Craig, was in his office. He heard what was going on, and he came out of his office. He came in and he got on the air as well. And he was explaining this email that he got that was from the Democratic Party that was just like, "Hey, y'all, people not coming out to vote. X, Y, and Z." So he and I are driving this message for people to get out and vote. Folks start calling in, and they're like, "I didn't even know it was election day. I was in the grocery store. People like I was getting gas. I was on my way home. I'm turning around." And it wasn't 1, 2, 5, 10 people. It was like 20, 40 people that were calling and saying, "Oh my gosh, thank y'all for putting this information out there." And so from that moment, 2 things happened. Carlea was terminated for insubordination because she had me on her show. And I was asked to be a part of a politically community-based show called The Breakdown. They did not happen at the same exact time. So at the time when I accepted, I wasn't under the impression that Carlea was being terminated. And she was not terminated because of me. This was something that had to do with her and management. And I say all of that to say there is nothing but love between the two, but between she and I. There was nothing that I could have done. If there was, there's no doubt in her mind or anyone else's mind that knows me that I would have done those things. She absolutely supports me in what I do on The Breakdown. She listens, and I'm very grateful to her for her friendship and for her selflessness as a woman.
Wow. That's what's up. And sometimes it's good to, even if that wasn't in your mind to bring up, sometimes it's good to bring stuff up because so many people, they try to tell your story for you.
Absolutely.
But don't tell it like you.
No.
It's just like me and Monique. Yeah, I was upset at first when, I ain't gonna say when she put me off the tour because she told me it was a few tours anyway. And a few mean 3. So it wasn't there forever,
Yeah.
But I was upset the way it went down. Come telling me what he said, she said. That's the stuff I played when I was in school.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? We both are grown. You come to me and just say, "Miss Arkansas, your time is up." Mm-hmm. I could have respected that more than telling me what somebody done told you,
sis, the part about comedy that is so unfortunate is that we don't have the sisterhood that a lot of the sisters in the music industry have with each other. I always tell people comedy is like the rap game. It's a few women that get along, a lot of them don't, and for the ones that have any type of level to reach back for another one, you really don't see that. And anytime this conversation ever comes up, I always give a huge shout out to Hope Flood. I think that she is so amazing when it comes to just being so approachable and so honest and so willing to help and assist and to help with the platform. I remember a time when somebody approached me and you about a reality show about female comics, and they were trying to get us to say that we didn't like each other and to be able to stir up mess, and we was like,
right.
But we like each other, though. Like, wait, we gotta pretend not to like each other. Is there another way we can go about doing this? Because we don't enjoy that, and I don't think that we ever heard from those people again.
I didn't.
But truth be told, I'm very proud of us for standing on our principles to say, no, you're not gonna paint us in that light and make us put on this facade that we don't get along. We do have a sisterhood. We have had to defend and love on each other in each other's presence and absence. We've had to fight for each other and make the way, even when other people said, nah, that ain't, well, listen, this is what this needs to look like in order for me to be able to participate right now. And to me, it wasn't because you were Miss Arkansas, because you were my sis, it was because you were a talented motherfucker and you were supposed to be there.
Come on now. Yeah, I interviewed Hope on yesterday.
Hey sis, is she out here? With them hats though.
Right. So she said her comic convention was pushed back to like September. So she'll be reposting that.
Comic
her cannibal business. So she sell that for those that use it. You know,
that is a woman of many, many, many hats. No pun, no pun intended. And she's great at what she does. I absolutely Hope is another queen that I thoroughly enjoy watching perform. The way that she just take anything and give it right back to you. She's so quick with it, like, right. I love it.
That's what I told her. We was talking about different. You had froze for a second, but that's what I was telling her too. I said I don't know why, and I ain't got no thought in my head of why. But like I told her, I ain't like her at first, and I told her that on the interview. I said, but I could truly say today I love you.
Mm-hmm. Word.
And she said, she started laughing.
You are very honest.
When I first met her, no, it wasn't that I had first met her. I was fussing about somebody else on Facebook. I don't even remember who it was. But she said something about the person didn't know who I was or something. And then I said, no, she said somebody, she didn't know who, she had never heard of me or something. And I told her, I said, just because you ain't never heard of someone don't mean they don't exist. You know, so we had our little few words then. But I thank God that wasn't enough to make me never want to talk to her or never want to support her or dislike her. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, word.
And last time she let me came to her convention and she was giving out bags and different stuff. And she said, this next comedian I want to call up and give a gift to, she gave me a good cussing. I was like, who is that? Everybody looking like,
why we don't never know they talking to us? Who?
Right. Everybody was looking at it like, who she get ready to call up? She said, comedian Miss Arkansas. And I just fell out laughing. Yeah, but she called me up and gave me a bag. I was like, no, it wasn't like that, y'all. I ain't give her a good cuss. But we had.
It's probably good though.
Thank you. Yep, you on week number 11, honey. God been blessing me to interview some amazing people like yourself and others. And this.
Who you had on, sis?
Huh?
Who you had on?
I had the comedy doctor, Mr. Tony Spires, owner of the Black Bay Area Black Comedy Competition and Festival. Miss Tina Graham, the godmother of comedy. I've had actors and movie producers and film directors and one lady, shout out to her. She the owner and the founder of Designers of LA. And she was like, I make masks for children and adults. And I was like, I'm gonna give you another project. You can make me and my dog one.
Oh, Lord.
She actually made me and my dog a mask.
Word.
And he a word in the house, but we go outside, that joker trying to knock that thing off his face. I said, this is where you need to wear it. But they've been amazing, all the people. One I had on yesterday got me some tea in the mail because I was saying I need to lose about 5 pounds.
Okay,
So
now.
he got some tea in the mail for me.
That's it.
Last week I interviewed this young lady, and me and her was talking about losing weight. She got some coffee in the mail for me. You know, they're just doing different stuff.
Sis, drink that shit while you on quarantine. Don't you drink none of that shit and go out in public and go to the store. Don't you? Them they say to you laxatives.
Right around.
Stay at home. Stay at home.
My stomach bubbling.
Yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen. Actually, you ain't gonna have to say nothing. Everybody gonna look at the DJ. They gonna think that they started playing a record again.
They gonna say, "Ooh, a sewer pipe done busted in here." One guy here, he do cartoon characters and stuff and bring them
like a caricature.
Yeah, and he got a book and play and everything, and he get ready to make a cartoon character of me. He said another partner of his to bring it alive. I said, well, if you bring it alive or not, you can put it on a piece of paper. Just make sure she got a gold tooth.
I know that's right. And bling that motherfucker out and thank you because you got it on page.
And music promoters, and like earlier today on Instagram, this star actor, he clicked like on my flyer for the show on today. And I just inboxed him because I feel God say you have not because you ask not. And I told him how it'll truly be a blessing if I could interview him one day. And he said, I love to. So I got him on the 18th.
Sis, I just love you. Well, you know that you have an attractive spirit, though.
Thank you.
I hope that you're aware of that. Like, you have long story short, like, for you to be so sassy and you know that you got your sass, that's the plus. I just want to be clear about that. That's such a positive about you. But for you to be so sassy, your personality and your aura around you is always so loving. So like you could even say some fucked up shit to somebody. They kind of like, I don't know. Did she compliment me though? I don't know. Did she? Like it's the, and I know it has a lot to do with the Southern hospitality that's ingrained in you. But I say all of that just to say your personality is very positively attracting. So I'm not surprised at all that somebody.
And I love people, man. I'm like, like one of my guests said, man, if don't nobody like you, something wrong with them. You know, it ain't me, it's them.
There's 4 comics that I say that about, and you are definitely one of them. That was another reason why I had to go so hard that particular night. I was like, wait, what?
You right. Wow. So what's the station you're on?
I am on Power 88.1 KCEP FM. You can listen to it on the actual station, or you can download TuneIn or the Power 88 app. My show is actually Wednesdays from 6 to 8 p.m. Just so that we are clear, I am a comedian on stage. Yes, I am funny naturally. However, this is an informative show. This show is community and politically based. So we do talk about everything from elections, local issues. Wednesday show, this Wednesday, we will be talking about definitely what's going on locally here with Metro and the sitting and the tear gassing. There's a call to action on behalf of the NAACP. I do sit on our executive board for our local chapter 1111 under the leadership of Madam President Roxanne McCoy, who has put a call to action out to have the removal of pro tem Mayor Michelle Fiore removed after she made insensitive, disparaging, racist comments about the Black Lives Matter movement protesters, as well as affirmative action. This city, this country has no place for that type of bigotry as we try to move forward in the heat of fighting social, economic, educational injustice in the streets. With that being said, yes, protesting is necessary. Yes, we do need to make sure that we have an agenda behind that, but we also need to make sure that we're always holding our elected officials accountable. They are public servants. They work for us. They work with our tax-paying dollars. And it is very important that we start to act like our tax-paying dollars, the dollars that we spend that's taken out of our checks that don't make it look the same, the way it's supposed to look, that we make sure that they have to do their job the same way that we do in order for them to take their tax money.
You're right.
I'm sorry. So we're supposed to meet at City Hall Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Las Vegas City Hall, that is downtown, and it is to call for the removal of Pro Tem Mayor Michelle Fiore.
This Wednesday.
That is correct.
You
So
say
this
what
evening
time?
at 9 o'clock in the morning, and
9 a.m.
that evening.
Oh Lord, I have to go to sleep early Tuesday night.
But it's worth it, and it's a worthy cause to see our power.
Right now I don't have a car, but I got a couple people I can call on, and if they willing to bring me, I'll come. I'll get masked up and come.
Absolutely, I will definitely be with my mask in support
Right.
of this initiative and this movement. And I'm very excited to see what this looks like when we make it clear to these elected officials here locally in particular that this is a blue state and you need to act like it is a blue state. And you need, and that is on all levels. And there's so much work that we have to do. And there's so much that I would love to encourage your viewers and your listeners to do as far as being active throughout the community. But just please understand that everybody has a role. If you can't protest, if you can't go and you can't be present at a city council meeting, which is what this is not just a protest, it is a city council meeting that you will be an attendee at. But if you're unable to do all of those things, there are so many other ways that you can support the movement. You can show up to school board meetings once they're back in session. That is something that is definitely not well attended when it comes to Black people. You can make sure that right now, while you're on social media, share a Black-owned business, share their information, purchase something from a Black-owned business. By all means, please do that. You know, share any information about the Black Lives Matter movements and the protesters that are out there. Cash out the protesters. They need water. They need first aid kits. All of those things, hygiene products, whatever it is that you can do. Everybody has a role. Make sure that when all of this is all said and done, you continue to hold elected officials accountable, that you continue to hold the police department accountable, that you don't neglect jury duty, that when they put this board together that's meant to analyze and assess the police and their conduct and brutality and all of these different things, the citizens board, don't be afraid to be a part of that and participate with it.
Wow. Well, like I said, I'll be a part because I get tired of turning the news on, and when they are having those town meetings or whatever, you might see one Black person, or a lot of them you don't see now Black person.
And think about this. You don't even know that Black person. What if they call on that Black person to speak and represent you? And that Black person get up there and say a bunch of shucky jivey, tap dancing, sambo type shit. You don't feel away, but you're not entitled to feel away because you only viewing it.
You're not there, right?
And I hold myself to that same standard. It's certain stuff where I'm like, you know what, I can't even be mad because I ain't go. I can't be mad because I didn't participate in it. I ain't even got nothing to say. I wasn't there.
You right. But like you say, it's time for us to say something. If you see something, say something.
Man.
You know, we got so much mess swept up under the rug in the U.S. It's like a vacuum cleaner won't even help it, you know?
You got to open up a door and you got to, look, you got to go through that dust because it's actually some important stuff that's in there because you done swept it up under so much stuff up under the rug. You got stuff that actually matters under there. So you can't just sweep it out the door. You got to sweep it from up under the rug. You got to go through it piece by piece, take the trash and sweep the trash out and
Come
keep
on now.
out things.
Wow. That is so true.
Word.
And then like now, I just checked my phone. It still ain't working.
I know. I was trying to figure out what that
phone been out of order since I woke up early this morning at 8 o'clock this morning. And some people talking about it'll be back working in a couple hours, and that was a couple hours ago.
That was several
And then somebody posted something, you know, people always posting stuff. You just have to do like God say he do, separate the tare from the wheat. What's good, keep it. What ain't good, get rid of it. They talking about how they putting 5G in everybody phone right now, and then when you call people, it gonna go to them and this and that and that. First of all, I'm not worried about none of that stuff. When they did a biopsy on my breast, they put a little old mark in there, a little chip or something. I had that woman to call about 5 doctors in there to tell me there wasn't no chip of the beast. And they were really talking to me, and I told that doctor, I said, I don't mean no harm if y'all lying to me. I'm not gonna cut my whole breast off, but I'm gonna cut the nipple off, and I'm gonna let some dude suck that chip out of me. That's because I'm not taking no mark of the beast. So
the thing about it, sis, that's so interesting is that like we as a collective, I want to be clear. I'm not speaking on 1 or 2 Black people. I'm speaking as a collective. That's the majority of us. Is that we act a lot on misinformation and lack of information and emotion, and that is such a deadly concoction when it comes to fear. You know, so let's look at this a little, just a little bit. To the point of you saying that they are like cutting off our service so that they can track us. Y'all, they don't need to cut off our service to do it. There's already a tracking device on your phone before you get it, dummy. There's already a tracking device on there. There's a tracking device on your laptop, on your PS4, on your smart TV.
Right, how you think we see each other now?
There's absolute, and it's not just us watching each other. Right now, there's some government going. Ain't nobody listening to her no way, so we just gonna let her talk. This is not anything that's new. So if you think, this is what I always tell people. If you have something that you don't want the government to know about and you still conducting business on your cell phone, you're not about this life. Anything that I have to say that should not be spread on here, I'll meet that person in person and I leave my phone in my vehicle. The most that they know is where I'm at. Why? Because I got a new truck and I know with GPS on there somehow, they'll always be able to find me as long as I have any type of attachment. I got a smartwatch on. I can't even be kidnapped right now. You can't tell me I can be kidnapped with this watch on. So that's that. Now, when we're talking about 5G and where everybody is so up in arms, your microwave actually emulates more wave 5G. So we just have to keep all of these things in mind. Now, that's not me advocating for 5G or saying it's this amazing thing, because I'm not as well versed in it as I could be. I'm very basic with my information, but what I do know is that this what they're doing right now, I don't think that they have to cut off 40 million Americans' phones to be able to do whatever it is that they need to do, because we get updates on our phones that we can't opt out of like every couple of days, especially if you got Android. That thing is always updating. You look at your phone and you like, that's not the screensaver I had for. What you gotta do? You know, so you got that going on. Y'all, it's not pointless to live in fear. This is what I always tell people who start to worry about stuff like that. If you got a driver's license, if you got Facebook, I don't really need to hear nothing about it. All of that has face recognition on it. You know, there's always documentation. If you got a birth certificate, if you got a social security card, all of that, you're not living off the grid. So it really makes zero sense for you to be a fear monger. I also and there's often people who try to talk down on other people, you know, and tell them, you know, oh, I can't believe that y'all eating that and that you doing that. And it's like, okay, so listen. You have these extra woke people and they want us to disattach from the government and all of that. And it's like, look, you don't own no land yourself while you sitting there talking to me like this from your apartment. You don't have a garden. You're not growing your own food. So while you talking about whatever other people eat, you ain't really no better, because you're not growing your own food. You're going to the grocery store depending upon demand for your food, for your water, for your electricity, for your gas. All of that, you're depending on this system to essentially help you to survive. So when we start talking like that, talking about building our own, I'm all here for it because it has been done. Tom and Ray outside of Atlanta, outside of Milledgeville, Georgia, was absolutely beautiful and amazing. But the problem is that a lot of times when Black people like to collect and congregate and build our own, what we don't think that we should do first is have our own military.
Right.
So we'll always be a target for riots and to have our shit burnt down and taken over. You know, people go to Central Park every day and have no idea that they used to be Seneca Village, that was a Black Wall Street. Where Central Park is, that was a Black Wall Street. It's not just Tulsa, Oklahoma. People don't know about Allentown. That was in California. You know, it was way more than just one Black Wall Street. But every time we did that, we didn't militarize ourselves first. We didn't have our own police. We didn't have our own governments in place in order to be able to say, if you step your ass over here and you're not a citizen, that's illegal here. We're sovereign citizens on this land and you can't come here. And the crazy thing about it is you see this being done in, I think it's Leaf, Utah, and it was another part of Utah that the Rajneeshis took over. Like they just move into these places and they bring all of these people with them and have them vote them into office, and then they take over the towns. So all of these things can be done. We can be self-sufficient, but we have to be willing to be self-sufficient.
Wow. Ooh, you shared some good information on today. I'm sure somebody learned something. I know I did. I hope y'all.
I don't know why I always do this to y'all shows. It's always comedians on, and I turn it into some old. Hey,
no,
look,
no, we are comedians, but times like these, man, people need to hear this stuff.
Absolutely, word.
You know, word. It ain't all about joking now. You know.
I've been trying to tell people that for a minute. Y'all be sitting there laughing at the comments up there trying to do us, and I'm like, bitch, it's not funny, and I don't like you.
You right. And they calling me, Miss Arkansas, can I book you for this, that, and that? I said, if I do the comedy, it's gonna be on this computer. If you talking with some good money, I'll put that mask on and come on. But I'm not going out there just to be going.
No, I have been doing I've done the Hilarious 7 a few times, but I am very grateful that I'm allowed to sit in the back in the green room until I'm called up. When I go up, John Clorox wipes the entire mic stand, everything for you before and after each comic. He has his own mic, so he's not passing the mic on. Go up, tell my joke, get my money, and put my mask back on, leave out. Walk to the car, come on back home. I'm out of the house, including travel time and stage time, at most 45 minutes.
Okay. He been hitting me up too. I told him I eventually come.
Oh.
I want to see what July gonna bring.
I know that's right, because
in August I'll be ready, because that's the hottest month of the year since they claim the heat kills something, but I don't think that's true either. 400
and something degrees. If it get that high here, that's the last thing we got to worry about is coronavirus.
Right.
It's just making sure that you keep yourself safe, you know, and whatever your comfort level is. I don't think that anybody should tell other people, well, all you should do is this and you need to do that. No, don't tell me what the fuck to do. Everyone, I don't even judge people that don't have a mask on. That's your prerogative. That's up to you. I'm allowed to protect myself.
That's right. Don't get mad when you see me with one on.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Somebody to fall out with me because I didn't want them to come in. You know what I'm saying? No,
But you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to tell me how to feel right now. You're not allowed to tell me how to protect myself. That's like people telling you not to own a gun. Bitch, you can't tell me not to bear arms. What's wrong with you? You can't tell me that. What's good for me, man?
I'm getting ready to give me a burner. That way, if I have to pop one of them, I can just throw it on the way. I ain't keeping it up there.
Girl, no, you get you a burner and you get it legally and you pop somebody and keep your burner.
Right. Man.
I wish somebody would. I wish. I be watching them videos, watching them run up at people's houses. I be like, oh, bitch, listen.
Right.
You will be running the other way so fast. That's hilarious. When I see, I'm like, oh no.
Wow.
Mm-mm.
Well, sister, I have one more. I got comedian and pastor.
She coming in? What?
No, I'm talking about next.
Yes.
He's a comedian and he's a pastor. Comedian Lester Berry. I got him next.
I think that I've seen him before. I think that he did the roast at Thump's Roast,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken. I think that might be him, but
It might be. He be somewhere everywhere.
it could be not. But thanks for having me, sis. I appreciate it. I'm
You
about
are more than welcome. I wish I didn't have another guest because I'd be just like your baby. Knocked out, ain't got a care in the world.
Not right now, he'll be up and I'm going to put that cereal in that next bottle and lay his ass right back down. Nah, look, the sun going down now, bro. You had your chance to be up.
Well, I love you, my sister. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to interview you. And I'll be sharing this on Facebook. The audio part will also be on anchorfm.com, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Twitter, and a few other sites. So,
Come on here. Sis, before I get out of here, I would definitely be remiss if I didn't tell you, I think you are an amazing, powerful Black woman. I see you walking into rooms where you know that they are judging you, they judging your accent, they judging your outfit, they judging the way you walk, and you don't give a fuck. I love that. I love how you don't let nobody throw you off your game. I'm so proud of you for coming, leaving, coming, going, whatever that look like on the ins and outs. I don't know. I'm proud of you. You are very resilient. And as sisters, I don't think that we could ever hear that too much. So shout out to you. Much love. Good luck with your show. I can't wait till this is over to love on you and see you in person.
Wow, thank you, sister. That really made my day. Thank you. And you
It's
know I got much love for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, have a good night and thank you so much.
No problem, sis. Anytime.
Peace.
All right.
Wow.